excited. So, all right, we're recording. So, again, welcome everyone. Appreciate everybody that's hopping on here tonight. We are super excited. We have a guest speaker tonight to talk to us, and as many of you know, we broadcasted a message that it's Josie Tong, but I'm not going to introduce her. I'm going to save that actually for Emmy, and just wanted to let you know a couple things before we get started. One is, if you're not talking, if you'd please be kind enough to mute yourself. A lot of times as we're talking and doing that, there may be times to unmute, and a lot of times if you're on a computer, you can hit space bar and it'll unmute, but if not, if you can do that, it's not as distracting. Would appreciate that. The other thing just wanted to let you know too is that you have the chat box, and as Josie's going through and talking and sharing her story and some of the her system and again those activities that have helped her to where she's come from and what she's been able to accomplish. You may have questions that pop into your mind, and I'd hate for you to forget those. So use the chat box, maybe type those questions in, and when she gets done, if she has a few minutes, we can go back and read some of those to her, and she doesn't get distracted along the way, and try to get your questions answered. And then the other thing I would just tell you is, I've got my notebook and I've got my paper here, and I'll tell you what, there's going to be great nuggets for you to write down about how and what you need to do to move your business forward. I've just in a little bit of listening to her, not only just in this business, but also in life, right? For us to become a better person, to be able to help others and have a greater influence and to be a source of change. Again, I want to thank her, but I want to also thank Marjorie and Emmy. Both of you know that Marjorie and Emmy are great leaders, and they had the opportunity to listen to Josie. They had the opportunity to work with her over Zoom and to talk with her and to hear her story, and it impressed them so very much that they really felt like that we would be blessed to have that. And so I'd like to take just a minute when we kick this off is turn some time over to Marjorie and let her just validate a little bit about what she felt when she listened to Josie the first time, and again, her feelings, right? Because we know that not only when you hear things and you write it down, but if you can convert that into feelings, chances of remembering those things, again, are much more powerful. And we want this to be able to help each and every one that's on here. So I'm going to turn some time over to Marjorie, and then Marjorie's going to kick it over to Emmy, and Emmy's going to introduce our guest speaker, Josie, and we will take it from there. And thank you so much for being on here. And Marjorie, you want to take it away?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, thank you so much, Bob Robbins, for hosting tonight's call. We always appreciate you for your leadership and your support. So tonight, I hope that you are ready to take a lot of notes while listening to our special guest speaker. But before anything else, I just want to thank God for tonight. That I'm just thankful that we're alive, and I thank God for the gift of good health and life vantage, and we continue to pray for everyone's safety and healing. So for those who doesn't really know me, I'm Marjorie Ham. Can call me Bacon for short. So originally I'm from the Philippines, and currently I'm residing in McAllen, Texas. So I'm a wife and a mother to 3 wonderful kids. Before Life Vantage, I was working as an OT in the Philippines. Then I went to Saudi Arabia, and then United Arab Emirates, then finally here in USA, where Life Vantage found me. So I can say that I'm blessed to have a good job with a good salary, but I was not really very happy because I was away from my kids. And just imagine 8 long years being away from them. Then I worked for almost 20 years working as an OT, but what I didn't expect, I got sick, and I couldn't even take care of my children the way I want to take care of them when I want to be with them already. We were financially hard up to pile up medical bills for myself, as well as for my mother in the Philippines, because I'm supporting her. She was battling cancer, and my dad had stroke. So Life Vantage actually found me when I was at the lowest point of my life. But Life Vantage gave me hope to my dad, the reason why I initially joined this, and I was able to get my life back again. That's the reason why I'm so passionate sharing this to all, because I know that we have a gift that can truly bless lives. So one of the best blessings that I received in this journey was meeting a lot of amazing people from all over the world that became friends, and friends that became family. And now I'm a present mom for my children and blessing lives at the comfort of my home. So this life-changing opportunity in our hand is a gift. That's why I'll never stop sharing this. This is simple, but it's not easy. You can't do this alone. You can't be successful doing this by yourself. And almost every day, I have to battle this feeling of giving up due to a lot of obstacles and fear. And one of my fear is public speaking and expressing myself. That's why I have to do it again and again so I can be comfortable. And even if I have experienced so many ups and downs in this journey, I'm still here because of God and because I am so proud to be part of this team tonight, led by our leaders from Arizona Pro-7, Bob and Laura Robbins. We have also Carl Barton and lots of amazing leaders here from here in the US as well as in Japan, Canada, and Ireland. So one of the most important things that I have done to keep me going on this journey is I just reached out to mentors who believe in me before I believe in myself. So I followed the system. I never stopped attending trainings and events to increase my belief. So we need to plug into training and listen to leaders who already succeeded in this journey to learn the mindset and the skill set, what it takes to succeed in this journey of helping people. And tonight, we are very thankful and because we are really in for a big treat because we have a special guest whom at first I just knew her from Life Vantage Facebook page. I was so blown away with her achievements as well as her story, which you will hear tonight. I don't really know her, but I was so excited to see her post as a mompreneur. So I was able to relate with her. I love mothers that love their children so much. And, I just start following her in Facebook. And then one day I received a friend request from her in Facebook as well as from her amazing business partner in New Zealand, who is also the first and newest Pro-7 there. And the more I was excited and was telling about her to our team and to Pro-7 Bob and Laura Robbins, our mentor, that I really very excited to know her because when I learned that she's Filipino, the more that I get so excited. So and then Emmy met her in one of the events that we worked together. So actually, we're very thankful for Emmy that we have this amazing opportunity right now that we can learn and listen from the story of our guests. So without further ado, Emmy, one of our passionate leader and biohacker, please give the honor to introduce our special guest.
Oh, thank you, Marge. Thank you so much. You're also a gift to our team and the most dedicated and passionate. We're so blessed to have you. And good evening again to everyone, and thank you all for taking your time to come and learn and be inspired tonight. You have a treat ahead of you. Well, I'm Emmy Villano Cadaves from Rio Grande City, Texas. I'm originally from Philippines. I am happily married for 25 years with my loving husband, Joji, and we're blessed with our two wonderful children, Jeff, 23, and Emily, 14. I was introduced to Life Vantage back in 2013, and I'm so truly blessed and so passionate about my opportunity to improve my health and my family's health here and globally. So I am a Pro-5 and I'm doing my business part-time in the nooks and crannies of my life. And tonight, I am very humbled and honored to introduce our special guest, Pro-7 Josie Tong. Josie has a nursing background. She worked director of nursing for 17 years before she went through massive burnout, quit her lucrative job with no plans in place. A year after she quit her job, she was diagnosed with breast cancer, had surgery and radiotherapy. This scared her to death, having lost her older sister at the age of 43. Josie's biggest regret in life is not being present when her kids were growing up. She said that she was married to her job, working 50 to 70 hours a week. In the past 11 years, network marketing gave her the opportunity to work from home, spend more time with her kids, and take them traveling around the world. She and her two daughters live in Sydney, Australia. Josie joined LifeVantage 10 months ago, together with 8 people from her previous company. She achieved Elite Pro-7 in her second month and created 9 distributorships qualify for Pro-5 Summit. Josie was also recently recognized as the Global Sales Influencer in 2020. Well, let's all have a big, huge welcome to our special guest tonight. Josie, thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you for that lovely introduction, Emmy. Thank you much. And really appreciate Laura and Bob for the opportunity to be able to share with your team. So if I could share my screen, I just wanted to show you a few photos, and then I'll go through a little bit of training and share with you what we've been doing. Okay. So, Bob, who's going to promote me to be able to? Okay. All right. Okay. So let me just start by sharing with you a few photos. So these were my kids when I joined my first network marketing company. And so I was working as a director of nursing for 17 years. I love my job and I was working very, very long hours. But what I didn't know and I wasn't aware was I wasn't literally present with my kids. I was there, but I wasn't present. And so when I quit my job at the age of 46, my first daughter was only 6 and my second was 3. So I got married late and I had my kids in my 40s. And so my biggest regret, as Emmy said, is really not being there for my kids. And so I am so grateful that in 2009, a couple came to my office because I had an agency at the time bringing nurses over from the Philippines to Australia. And they came over and they showed me an opportunity. And before they even finished, I made up my mind that I'm going to join because of the products. But you know, this couple, what they did, they took me to a couple of meetings, and I always share this story because it's so important. So I told them I'm just interested in taking the products, and they knew I was busy. However, they said to me, Josie, we know you're not interested in the products, but we'd love you to come and just check out the company. So I went to the head office and they have a meeting over there and they did a presentation. And I met the top earner of the company. She was Chinese, could hardly speak English, and she was one of the top earners in the whole of company. And I thought, wow, you know, this is amazing. And they gave me a magazine, and that magazine had different stories of people that have made it in with that company. And so then I made a decision 4 weeks after I joined. I made a decision that I'm going to do this business. And so the key is I made my decision. And the next day I proceeded to make some phone calls. No training, nobody trained me how to invite. I knew that all I needed to do was pick up the phone and call people. So I called a couple of people and they decided to join. So I did a presentation. I didn't have any training on how to present, but I could read the flip chart. So I was literally flipping the charts and reading it, but they could feel my excitement. And so both people joined, and I rang my sponsor and I said to him, do you have a projector? Do you have a screen? Can you bring it over? So that same week, I started to gather people at my home and started my home meeting. And so that, with that company, you know, I got to a level called Diamond Director, and I had business partners in 6 countries. But what happened was I lost my mojo. You know, after a while, these few things happened, I lost my mojo. And Dr. Brian Dixon, who you all know, he posted in July last year that he moved to LifeVantage, and I had to have so much respect for him. And I thought, what is going on? You know, I've never heard that he was leaving. And so I started to look at LifeVantage. Then I had a phone call from the general manager here, and she told me about the red carpet program. So for about 20 days, all I did was watch YouTube videos, watch a lot of videos, read a lot, and I saw Tara Wilson. So when you go to YouTube, you search. So I searched and I watched some of her presentation, and I started to research about the different leaders. So I reached out to 3 people, and she was the first person who messaged me back. And so we got talking, and I thought, well, maybe we can meet in Salt Lake City, in Utah. So we went to Utah because at that time, all of these people here, we were with the previous company, and we were scheduled anyway to go to a convention. So we so instead of going to the convention, we spent a couple of days in, LifeVantage, and we got to meet the CEO, Justin Rose, all of those people. And when we came back, we made a decision that we're going to join LifeVantage and start our business from the 1st of September last year. So that's what we did. And knowing what I know in network marketing, I knew that if I was to drive this team, I need to do home meetings. So that is, at the time, of course, before the virus, we could have home meetings. So what we did, we scheduled 3 meetings, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturdays in the evening at 7 o'clock. And so people brought people to my home. And so that's all we did. We didn't have much training at the time, because what I said to them is, sometimes you get stuck and bogged down with training. So they came over, people joined. The good thing about doing face-to-face, it's, that face-to-face interaction. So it's easy to, trust people. And so we duplicated very, very quickly. So as you can see there, in our first month in the business, we had 149 people join, just because all they did was very simple. Here's the invite them to this home event. So they just, all we did was invite. And so they learn as they sit and listen to the presentation. And this is what I say to people. I'm not going to train you how to present. What I want you to do is to be present during overviews. Just come to the overview, and the more you listen to it, take down notes. Just like with Bob, he has a notebook. So I told them, take down notes, and as you listen, you'll be able to present. And lo and behold, in just 6 weeks, some of my team decided that they're going to branch off and start their own meeting. Did we have training? No. All they did was sit down and watch a presentation. Okay, so even when we first presented, we didn't even know what we were talking about. Like, we just listened to some overviews and we took down notes and we went through the slides. But this is what I say to my team. No, so if you invite guests, they don't know about LifeVantage. So if you make a mistake, they don't even know that. So all you need to do is just do it, like Nike, just do it. And so that's what happened in our first month. And our second month, in October, we had 180 people. And in November, our volume was like 180 plus thousand. So we were able to help Charlotte Venter, who's based here, to get to Pro-9. And how did we do that? We just did what we did in our first month and second month. All we did was invite people to come to our meeting. And then so let's say, for example, someone signs up today. And what I say to them is, okay, perfect. Now, we don't want you to overthink. All we want you to do is to be excited and invite someone to the next event. And so can you imagine, we have 3 people join, they invite 1 each, and then we have 6 people in the audience. You know what I mean? So really, instead of getting them bogged down with just so much training, get them to the next event. It is so important to really get people to events. And so what happened, when New Zealand opened in November, we already have trained these people. Of course, we have a little bit of training, but that's not much. So we have this training, and this is what I emphasize to people, is events. You cannot build a business with no events, whether online or offline. You gotta show up to events. And I was talking to one of my leaders today, and I say to her that you really need to look at people who are showing up. Are they showing up to events? Because even if they didn't have guests, I want them to show up and listen to the overview and take down notes, because the more you listen to it, you will know what to say. Okay. And so when we first started, I wanted to make sure that we have a monthly Super Saturday. So we started in November. So we started September, October, and our third month, we had a Super Saturday. So this was our Super Saturday. And so we invited Pamela Ferry, who's the general manager, and we invited Charlotte Venter. And so that event is just really to recognize people, do a bit of inspiration, a little bit of training, but I can tell you that it builds belief. So what this has done for us is it builds belief. And so we created some t-shirts. I love t-shirts. So we created a few t-shirts because people feel that sense of belongingness, because, like, oh, wow, I'm part of it and all of that. That's how we created the excitement. So as you can see in that photo, a lot of them are millennials. So we have a diverse group of people. And because we were so good at getting people just so simple, come to event, bring someone on board. When people come to the event, we show them how to invite people to a home meeting. Then we show them Pro 3. We don't show them Pro 2. At that time, we were showing them Pro 3. It's like, hey, we want you to get your money back. So bring some people over, they can see their overview, and we will structure your business. So most of the time we are able to, I think 90% of our signups were Platinum Pack, because we show them, obviously you're here to do business. I mean, gosh, if you had a traditional business, you have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars. And so people were signing up on the Platinum Pack, and then we show them how to get to Pro 3. So we say, look, sponsor 3 people, you get your money back, because you get your Smart Start bonus, you get your Pro 3 bonus, and all of that. So we were churning Pro 3. So in our organization, I think we have 140 Pro 3s. And so I say to them, if you have so many Pro 3s, you go Pro 5. So then I built my business through incentives as well. So events, then incentives. So I say to them, do you want to get a free trip to US? So, anything that's free, imagine free trip. They cover your return airfare to Australia, your hotel, etc., etc. And so I had a lot of carrots. So when people are Pro 3, they're bringing people over. I show them a way to get to Pro 4. And then, like if I see this, I have got a way of being able to know who is a potential leader, because I don't have a lot of time. Who is a potential leader is somebody who shows up, someone who makes a contribution, someone who calls me all the time. Because, don't get mad when people call you all the time, because when they're calling you, you should be happy because they're doing work. And so I know, and looking at their structure and say, do you want to do it? They need to want to do it. And so in that short period of time, so from September to January, we were able to create, multiples Pro 5. So we're able to attend, the Pro 5 Summit. And as a result as well, I was able to take my kids to Maldives. So that's why my team are inspired of the possibilities. And I say to them, in LifeVantage, we have so much possibilities here, but really it's entirely up to you to take it. And so just to sum it up, I just want to say that what will build your LifeVantage business is you making a decision that you want it. You want it. If you want it, and how much do you want it, and how much do you want? So some people are happy with $1,000 a month. Some people are not happy with 1,000, they want to earn 5,000. So you look at the income disclosure and you say, that's the level that I want. That's the level that I want, because that's the lifestyle that I want. I want to take my kids traveling, whatever you want, you need to look at that, but it ain't going to fall from the sky. You need to do a lot of work. So once you make the decision, you need to work out a plan. So you look at your organization and you look at people who are willing to work with you. Work with the willing. It's so hard to drag somebody who's not willing. Because for me, I want energy. I want people who are focused, somebody who's really wanting to set their goals, because I don't want to waste my time. And then make sure that you do have events, So there are 3 things that I really emphasize to my team. First is leadership. And it starts with self-leadership. It's like, You cannot lead a team unless you can lead yourself. So meaning, are you showing up to events? Are you doing what it takes to invite people? So it's really self-leadership. And then obviously, in order to become a big superstar in your own team, meaning that you have results. Okay, in order to have results, get to the elite like Bob and Laura, is to have events. Now with the way it is, there's no reason why you cannot do a Zoom, and have presentation. But I believe that one presentation a week is not enough. So even if you had a group presentation like once a week, you still need to do something every single day. Even if you did a Zoom call with somebody, like really, it's all about getting people in the pipeline. And so the third one is system. So Bob and Laura and some of your uplines do have their own system. So make sure you whatever it is that is in the system, that you follow the system. That is super, super important. And so when I'm training people, I also talk to them about KSA, knowledge, skills, and attitude. So knowledge, you need to know your business. If you don't know your business, how can you be serious about your business? Do you know the LifeVantage story? Do you understand how the products work? Do you know them in depth? So it's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to study LifeVantage. So when I was doing my research, I was like, Bob, I had a notebook just to write down everything that I wanted to learn from LifeVantage. It's so important. It's to learn. Okay, so here you are. You're going to be successful in LifeVantage. You want to empower other people. You want to inspire other people. But do you know your business? Do you know the company? Have you seen the investors report? Oh my gosh, when I do three-way calls, I pull up the investors report because it builds belief and credibility of our company. And I show them, look, this is our company. And I go through that. And then, so you need to know about your company. You need to know about your products. And what about the compensation plan? I can tell you that even now, I'm still learning about the compensation plan, but it's so important to learn even the basics on how to get paid, because you need to be able to relate to people how to get paid. So that is your knowledge. And then skills. You cannot build this business with no skills. But skills, it's, the more you do it, it's like, for example, if I bake a cake, the first time it will probably flop. If I do it tomorrow, the next week, the week after, I do it all the time, my cake's going to be amazing. So it's similar to what we do. At first you will suck. It's like, oh my gosh, that is so bad. You have a lot of no's and everything, but it doesn't matter, because the more you do it, the more you will learn, the more you make mistakes, the better, because then, you'll get better all the time. So it's really understanding the 7 skills to become a professional in network marketing. And so I did a training with our team called 7 Skills in 7 Days, similar to Eric Worre, very comprehensive. And you know what? I say to them, in this business, you got to be a serious student. And so the people that have taken it on board, that have really understood it, that have really applied, they are the ones that are reaping the benefit. So important to have the skills. And number 3 is attitude. So it's KSA, knowledge, skills, and your attitude. In this business, 80% is mindset and attitude. People get disappointed. Oh, my upline didn't call me. My sponsor didn't do this. Well, hello, is your success dependent on what they say or what they do? No, you gotta divorce your upline. You really need to take 100% responsibility. Your success is not dependent on what your upline will do or not do for you. If I just, relied on my upline, they're so busy and all of that, I made a decision. And this is what I teach to my team. I want you to take 100% responsibility of your business and your result. We are here to support you, but we're not here to build the business for you. And attitude, honestly, is going through personal development. The way we use our time, we got to be smarter with using our time. So what I do with personal development, just get them to watch a video for about, 10-minute video, maybe of, sorry, let me just turn that off. 10-minute video of, say, gym run, just really make sure that you are intentional in your personal development, because I can tell you that they don't teach us that when we have a job. But in what we do in Life Vantage, it's really about personal growth and also helping people to grow in the business. So I think that's what I can share. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Thank you so much, Josie. I can't tell you how many pages of notes I just took. So, and also just how much of that rings true to other systems, other behaviors that other successful leaders. You know, we are part underneath Blue Elam, Seth Mulder, and those, and they talk to the same thing. Little different name to it, but again, they have systems, they have behaviors that are core behaviors that we need to do and to follow. That leads back to the exact things that you talked about and that you're teaching your team. So it's very evident why you've grown so fast. What an amazing team! What an amazing story. If you had just a minute, I would love to hear just that. You don't have to go into depth, but what was the 7 skills? Do you remember those? What those were that you teach?
So it's prospecting.
Sorry, what prospecting?
Prospecting. Then you've got inviting. So inviting and handling objection. Then you've got presenting. Okay, and then you have follow up. Then you've got closing, getting started, and then events, promoting events. And the biggest money earner there is promoting events. So I always emphasize to people, promote events. So important to promote events.
Thank you so much. I don't know if anyone else has any questions, but if you'd like to, go ahead and unmute yourself. And if she's got, do you have just a few minutes, Josie?
Yes, of course. Yes, sure.
Marjorie?
Hi, Josie. Thank you so much. So my question is, what is your daily method of operation?
Okay. See, a lot of people ask me this, and it really varies depending on if people are just getting started or you already have a team, you're working with different leaders. So what is important to note in daily method of operation is 80% of your time should be spent recruiting, doing the daily method of operation, which is really inviting people, you know, the ITT, inviting people to look at a tool, inviting people to look at an overview, and plugging them into a 3-way call. So 80% of that is really bringing people on board as new distributors and as new associates. So for me, I do a lot of 3-way calls, I do a lot of presentation, and 20% of my time is really training the team and helping the team. So 20%. And the mistake that a lot of people do is they spend 80% helping, you know, people. Of course, you know, you will come to a point where you don't have to recruit too much anymore because you're tap rooting. So you're working with the people who are willing to work and you're helping them to build their business. So, you know, if you are wanting to get to Pro 3, I recommend for those people who want to get to a solid Pro 3, I recommend that you just spend your time inviting people to look at a tool, inviting two people to look at our overview, and inviting people to a 3-way call with your upline support. That's all you need to do. And even you can even get to Pro 5 with that. Because you know why? Because what you want to do is to bring people into the pipeline. And so when you have people, all these people that are joining, maybe let's say you have 10 people who join, maybe one of them want to be a Pro 5 like you. You know what I mean? So not everybody that you come on board will be as you know, as excited as you. Maybe they're excited in the beginning, they get a no, and then suddenly they're missing in action. And so with regards to daily method of operation, I think it's about scheduling. So schedule the time. So I tell people, treat this like a job, because if you don't show up in Life Vantage, because nobody's, you know, clocking whether you're going to be there or not, it's going to be hard. So it's really about making sure that you schedule your Life Vantage. So I say to people, we have an overview on Tuesday night, schedule it, invite people to that. We have a team huddle on Sunday evening, make sure you're there so you can listen to a training. And then of course, for them to, we also have an Australia, New Zealand overview on Wednesday nights. So it's really just, working with them and making sure that they're doing the activities to bring people on board. Hope that helps, Madge.
Thank you, Josie. I actually joined your presentation this morning. I woke up at 4 a.m. because I wanted to listen to you. So I was able to listen to you because I wanted to learn how you do the presentation. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's great. Is there any other questions anyone might have? I can't, there's multiple people on here, so I can't see all the screens, but if you'd like to unmute yourself and go ahead, it'd be great.
Bob, did you ask me something?
Just Johanna, if you had any questions, Josie Tong was willing to answer.
No, it was good to hear about good old-fashioned at-home meetings, wasn't it? It was like a little flashback.
Very, very much so. Josie, I think maybe just along that lines now, with the change, right, because of the pandemic and everything having to go online, are you doing, I guess, everything Zoom wise? I mean, are your leaders doing multiple Zoom meetings a week, or are you plugging into one big one? Do you know?
Yeah, so we have, so what happens now is we have different leaders. We have about 5 groups now. So they're doing their own presentations. So what's good about that is, they're taking responsibility of their own results. But, if they have people who are available at specific times when we have the different overviews, they just plug those people onto that. But I just think that as long as people are doing the presentation, I think it's good. So I've got a few Pro-6, our Pro-7 in New Zealand is doing his own, and I've got a few Pro-4s, Pro-5s who are doing their own presentation. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. That's what they call leverage. So important.
Very much.
What about you, Bob? Do you have is everybody plugging into one, or are you doing different groups?
So we, right now there seems to be several of them that are being done. The corporate has one that they do once a week overview, and then Dondi and Marcy Nettles do 3 a week. And then I know that on Wednesdays, the team, Marjorie and Emmy, they have one that's that they do. And then pretty much on demand or question as far as that. And there seems to be a bunch that are recorded ones, but it seems to be more on demand that fits around other people's work schedule and times that they have, just because the team seems to be so spread out across the U.S. and other countries as well, which is a blessing, but also hard to do at one time.
Yeah.
But much like your story, I mean, it makes me think back to when my wife and I first joined. We didn't know anything, and we did the same thing. I mean, we went around here in Arizona, and Phoenix was a pretty big spot with a lot of meetings. And at the time, there was a lot of in-person ones, and we would go and listen, even though we weren't part of their team, we would go and listen to at least 1 or 2 meetings a week just to take notes. And I've got literally notebooks of presentations and how someone said, and we didn't have a set of slides, and a lot of it was done on whiteboards, and it was, but that's how we learned. And really helped prepare us when we did get that opportunity. And it was needed for us to be able to present. So that same thing that you're talking about. So that's very similar road.
That's great. So maybe I can just end with a message about really Life Vantage has so much to offer. I chose, Life Vantage as my home simply because of the products, amazing results from the products. And so we need a lot of people to know about the products. And I say to people, there's a lot of families that are looking for a solution financially. And so we have this opportunity, we have a vehicle to be able to share with other people. And so it's really about scheduling and making time to do your Life Vantage business and take it seriously. Take it seriously for you know, the next 3 to 5 years. So I was talking to someone, one of the leaders here in Australia, and she's a Pro-8. And I said to her, okay, so tell me, what's your Udemy level bonus, you know, your monthly bonus? She goes, you know, it's about 22,500 or a little bit more, you know. And if you work your business for 4 years and you work it seriously and you earn 20 grand a month, that is really good, right? And so LifeVantage has got all these opportunities for each and every one of us. And just to really just focus, just really make sure that you plug people to events, invite them. Don't be scared. Hello, you know, a lot of people would want to hear about this. It's just that no one has talked to them about it yet. And keep a notebook, even in this day and age. And I have on my phone, I've got an app, it's a notes app. So I've got a lot of notes on that, you know, about 1,000 notes or whatever that I take there, but I've also taken a lot on my notebook. So what I recommend to people, you get a notebook. One side is for health. So you listen to a health event and you put everything on this side and then you flip it, and that's for your business notes. And so, you know, I say to people, you know, I don't have to take down notes, but, you know, you just have to take down notes, because it's, I think visually, even Eric Worre, he talks about taking down notes. So as you can see, you know, I work on numbers, you know, I understand how to get people to Pro 3, I understand how to get people to Pro 5, etc. You know, what levels and everything like that. So I think that's it for me, Bob.
Well, thank you so much, Josie. I am very, very grateful. I know our whole team has been blessed to hear your story and again, what you've done to become so successful. And I'm sure too, I think it was in the bio, but this is not your first. Can I ask you just one more quick question? How long have you been doing this? Did you say again, this industry?
Okay, so I joined my previous company in 2009. So I was there for 10 years, and I joined LifeVantage in September. But you know, I see a lot of people who have been in the industry for quite a long time, and the reason why people struggle or don't really get to where they want to do is they're not intentional about growing their business. Being intentional really is about being a master of your business and doing the activities to drive the results.
Thank you so much. I just, in your first business, when you first started doing it, how long would you say was the learning curve to where you feel like you knew what you needed to do and were successful
So for
at it?
me, yeah, for me, it's from day one. You know, when I made the decision that night, 2 o'clock in the morning, I made the decision I'm going to build a business. So for me, it's like from day one, I just, regardless of, so what I made a decision that I'm going to do it. So I'll find a way, I'll find the resources and everything like that. So I was driven to not go back to a job. So I had a very strong reason why I want to fail, because I didn't have a job at that time, because I quit my job and everything. And I had a driving force for me. It was very strong that I didn't want to go back to a job. And I say to people that you need to have that why to be able to hang on to, that will drive you to really do what it takes. But I know that there is a number in network marketing, 1, 3, 5, and 7. Your first year is really your learning curve. So a lot of people, you know, like you just learn first year. So you just have to accept it that, you know, it doesn't matter if you're not earning, it's okay, because you're learning. So as you drive, as you have your skills better, you get more results. So your first year is learning. And then in 3 years, you know, if you really are doing it consistently, you could replace your income and get yourself to a 6-figure income, okay? In your 5th year, you know, you could be on multiple 6-figure, could be 200,000, I don't know. In your 7th year, you should be a world class. That is because you're doing the do, you're being intentional, you're learning, you're mastering, and you're growing.
Thank you so much. Your wisdom is just overwhelming. So appreciate you being on our call so much, and appreciate Emmy and Marjorie, their leadership. They're examples of what you've talked about, and taking responsibility for their business, and also of helping their team, and they're constantly in that inviting phase and doing the things and behaviors that we want to, as well as others that are on here. So thank you so very much. Emmy, Marjorie, did you have anything you want to say before we close?
We're so thankful and honored, Josie. Thank you for your time. I met Josie, we were in a book club with Kai Hayes. So through Kai Hayes, we've known each other in our Zoom calls and meeting, and just really very humble person. And then she makes you inspired to really make your belief to really succeed. And right now, like where some of us are having a full-time job, especially we have a lot of challenges like the healthcare workers. We don't want to go back to our job right now because of the risk. And I've always had the hope. When I met Josie, I really my belief elevated, and I attended one of her trainings. She was invited by other team. So I really thank you so much for your time, for sharing your nuggets and your success to us. It's a blessing. Thank you.
Welcome.
Josie, I just want to thank you, and I'm so inspired by you, like being a mompreneur. So really one of my goal right now is to help a lot of mothers to be a present mom to their children. And before, I just want to ask you, when you were starting in this business, what were the books that you were reading?
Good question. Have you heard of Your First Year in Network Marketing? I think that is still relevant. It talks about the roller coasters of building the business and what you need to do to really, in your first year in network marketing. I think that is a very valuable resource for sure. I love Think and Grow Rich. I think almost everyone who's made a success in the world have read that book. That book is over 100 years old. So if you haven't read that, guys, that is the book to read. And for leadership, it's John Maxwell's 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. And you must get that book called GoPro by Eric Worre. So, even when you start with a GoPro, start with first year in network marketing, 21 Irrefutable Laws, I think that is important. And one thing I learned from one successful individual, Darren Hardy, so he said it's not about reading 10 books a year, it's about reading one book 10 times, which makes a lot of sense.
That's good, yeah.
Very much. I think I've heard that before. Leaders are readers.
It's not a question to Josie and Marjorie and Emmy, but I just want to thank you for your inspirational and motivational experience regarding business. And we are just starting, and we learn a lot through listening. And my husband is writing over here, and he is really good in writing, and that is what he's doing. And now I'm gonna start writing too. Well, you are so inspiring, three of you. So and so contagious, because you are Filipina and I'm Filipina. I think Bob Robbins is surrounded by smart Filipinas.
Very much so. Very much so.
Yeah, so I want to thank you, three of you, for your beautiful and encouraging experience that people who would like to succeed may learn from that experience and from your encouraging experience and motivation. So hope to see you again.
Definitely.
Thank
Welcome.
you. All right, we're going to go ahead and stop.
Chelsea, I have one request.